Good evening and welcome to the nighttime heat on this beautiful Monday evening. This program is aired right here on Prime FM 105.5 and also relayed on Radio Kwatika in Bon County, Radio Gegeman in Nimba, Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. You know, Wologisi just joined the team of radio stations that are relaying. And also we have Witness FM right here in Morovia. Witness FM is also relaying the program. And then we are streaming live. You know, we have to go on the social media. So we are streaming live on our Facebook page. That is the Facebook page of Nighttime Heat. If you go on your page, either you're using your phone or your laptop, just go to where they have the search. And of course, you can tap Nighttime Heat. Just 3 words. After you tap, you can share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also be on top of what is happening tonight. In addition to that, you can also watch the show on our YouTube channel. Just go to where they have the search, and of course, you can tap again Nighttime Heat, the 3 words, and after which you subscribe and you just hit the notification bell. Immediately you do that, you're going to watch the show live on our Facebook, our YouTube channel. Well, tonight is an interesting night. You know, over the past 72 hours, yes, 3 days, a lot have been taking place in our country, Liberia. So tonight we'll be putting a spotlight on all of what's been happening. We're going to display videos to you, we'll upload them, and of course, display videos, and we talk about those things. We'll have our guests also coming to studio. That is at 8:30. We'll have for one in the US, and of course, also Dr. Lessing is based in country, former deputy for police will be right here also on the program, and Jemama Wolokoli will be here, and of course, there to talk about Liberia. We espouse the interest of our country, and of course, also let me note no linkage the police so as to provide balance, the professionalism, and of course the credibility. You know, the program reflects all sides, with the opposition, the non-position, the opposition, reflect all sides on this program. Of course, that's tonight we have another panelist. He will introduce himself, and of course, he'll be a regularly, like Moses Sandy has been. So, well, join us. Be attentive. Yeah, make sure that you close to your television set or your online set, your the radio, the Prime FM 105.5. Just be close to that so that you can be on top of all what's going to happen tonight. Sabo George is my name. We'll be back after this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's start.
Okay, so let's start, and of course, we are starting the nighttime heat tonight. And like I said, we have a new panelist. You always be here. He has committed himself to be on this platform, so we all together can espouse the interests of our dear country, Mama Liberia. And of course, let me welcome him to the program. George Kennedy, welcome.
Thank you, and good evening to the people of Liberia, and to you, especially the host, Mr. George. And it's an honor. It is an honor for me to be here, and we will do our utmost best to be as balanced as we can,
Okay.
and in exporting the interest of Liberia, and we stand for that. And I appreciate your work.
Welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Like we said, this program reflects our side, our sides. It doesn't have any political link, no politician sponsoring this program, and so we can, it's just basically intended to uplift Liberia, through intellectual, discourse. Let me welcome Moses Sandy. Sandy's always here. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba. It's a pleasure to be back. It's always great for connecting with you, talking to the people in Liberia. And our people in Liberia, let me say, it's always good being able to connect with you via social media. Today, I know the discussion is going to be very interesting, given the trending stories, coming out of Liberia. I'm sure the discussion is going to focus on a significant portion of some of the happenings there. Right, Saba?
Yes, Moses. We also have Josh Kennedy. Josh Kennedy has joined us. He's one of our panelists, and of course, he's committed himself to be a regular. So you can greet George as well.
Yes, so George, it's a pleasure connecting with you, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to our Nighttime Heat. And when you come here, you are sitting in a real tough. It's a very challenging room. So, but hey, I don't mean to intimidate you, man. We just come to educate, entertain, and tell the stories as they are. That's why they call us the Nighttime Heat. Thank you.
Surely.
Thank you. And we're here to support your efforts, and we want to say thank you for the effort you've made. We hope to be able to add some level of values as someone who has been in the media for quite a long time in the print media area. So we hope that our presence here will help to improve the program further, or add some fresh angles or values to the program. Thank you.
Okay, so welcome Moses,
you.
and welcome George. First, let's try to connect with our correspondent from Lofa County, Moses Moween. Moses is now on. Let's try to speak with Moses quickly. Moses, welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Yes, and welcome. I'm sure Radio Wologisi should be relaying this program. Welcome to the program.
Yes, let me say good evening to you, Mr. George, and good evening to the many followers and also the listeners as well. It's my pleasure again to be live on this fresh edition of the Nighttime Heat.
Okay, first let's hear from you. We are getting reports here in Monrovia that traditional practice has been abolished. We don't know how factual is that. Do you care to confirm or deny that?
Yes, when it comes to the minister's visit to Lofa County, that was on a Friday. It was on a Friday. And when the minister, along with other officials of the Internal Affairs Ministry, when they pay visit to Lofa County, and that particular meeting was being held by the ministers and alongside with paramount chiefs, clan chiefs, and general town chiefs from cross sections of Lofa County. They all gathered in the Zozo to discuss some traditional issues. But what was being discussed in closed door, that is yet to be known to the public. But according to the general meeting, what was being discussed in that particular meeting is that the Poro and the Sunday school has been bound until next year, January 2026.
Now, so how did the people react to this latest decision by the Minister of Internal Affairs?
The people, the reactions from the citizens of Lofa County. Yes, Frenchmen say "Comment ça?" That means someday good, someday bad. Some of them they were already in the process. I mean, a couple of there should be something like a week or two. I mean, prior to some people, I mean, to start the process when it comes to the Poro and Senate School in Lofa County, based on the decision from the South, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Mr. Francis Sakila Yumaling, and some citizens are ready. Some of them, 85% of them was ready found with the decision from the South. The minister on ground that they've started the initiative, they started everything, they've gone through too many processes, so that they decided to start the process. But the minister coming back to say he's putting how to it. I mean, that alone itself as a setback. But one of the reasons why, according to the minister, one of the reasons why he tried to put hold on the entire process is that Lofa County. In Lofa County, specifically Zozo district, and that of one of the districts in Lofa County, in the Kolahun district, that's the Wahansa belt. They've been violating, and according to the Ministry of Internal Affairs laws and others, that before such a bush school can start, that means the commissioner, the paramount chief, and that of the superintendent, and all of traditional leaders of the county supposed to be in the know.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Finally, before we take leave of you, since that the decision has been taken by the minister, you said since that is Friday, it was announced. What are the people doing now? What are they intending to do? The fact that they are not pleased with the decision taken by the minister.
Well, they have decided to abide by what the minister have said. They've said the law is the law. And what the minister said, every town that has a butch, every town that has, members in the butch would be a Poro or Sunday school. They should try to, have them graduated. They give them the grace period of 1 month. So, but what they got?
Hello.
Yeah. So what they've decided to do is that they keep everything constant. They've decided to live by what the law is saying and what the minister have said, that they should not try to do whatever thing that they've decided to do. So they decided to live by what the minister said, and they decided not to protest. They think that the tradition remains the tradition, and the tradition should be respected, just as the minister have said. So they decided to keep everything calm until next year, January.
Many thanks, Moses. We really appreciate your time on the nighttime heat tonight. Moses and my namesake George, you just listened to our correspondent from Lofa County talking about the abolition or suspension of in that part of the country. What do you think, Moses?
Well, as I listened to the reporter, I was a little bit concerned because I heard him say, the minister say, and he's at the same time quoting the people saying the law is the law. I don't know if he's saying that the people, because the minister is not the law. So what has been the law over the years? It said that we now have a restriction on Sandy Bush. Do we now have a restriction on poor society? And if that is a law that has been in place, then we can say the law is the law. But it said that the minister just showed up to Lofa County and he decided to act impulsively. He just woke up, he said, oh, this is what I want to see happening, without even, align the people to have an input in the decision and say, hey, as far as I'm concerned, there can be no poor society, there can be no sunny society. I know there are negative and positive implications associated with each of these societies. But if this is the tradition of the people, if you're going to put a restriction on that, then there got to be some legal basis. And that's what we didn't hear the reporter talk about.
Okay, I'm sure he was sure of that. Let's hear from you, George. You listen to the reporter. What's your take on that?
Thank you. I sit here as a benefactor of the Poro Society.
Okay.
And so I understand the tradition to a larger extent. And so I know that probably there are some policies, there are some rules, the minister being a traditionalist, someone who is also a benefactor of the poorer society in Lofa County. I believe that probably he observes certain things that he has not communicated well to the public, and he needs to do that, especially to the people there. Probably the indoor meetings he had with them, he told them, and they understood that's how they decided to calm down. But I don't think it's a ban. It's just a matter of suspending for the few months until they can put those things into place. The society is good. Probably they need to carry some modernity that will improve conditions and health of people. So he needs to communicate that very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that the people can understand
So
it.
that they can
Okay.
understand. That's what I was
Okay, so gentlemen, let's try to upload this video. While we're talking about what we've been talking over the past some 3 hours, some 2 hours, what we've been talking about the arrest, and of course that the discussion tonight we'll be talking about the police invites, arrest, and subsequent detention of former House Speaker for Nanti Kofa and others. Is it positive or is it negative for our democratic credential? That's what we'll be trying to figure out tonight. Looking at it from the aspect of the rule of law. But let's try to upload this video. We've been hearing something from the families of the late Nancy Doe. On Sunday, I'm sure I stand to be corrected. Former President George Weah went to visit the family, and of course, while there, he made some donations, donations of some 50 bags of rice, $1 million Liberian dollars, equivalent to 5,000 United States dollars, and a cow. And then the people, I understand, ask for additional cow. They wanted 2 of it. So, but just 24 hours after, we heard about another dramatic twist about the daughter of the late Samuel Doe, Mammy Doe, rejecting this offer. But initially, she was there yesterday. In fact, a video picked up yesterday on Sunday when the president visited the family. So let's try to hear from her, upload the video and hear from Mammy, and we can have a discussion.
And he said that he was going to handle it, but he didn't. So I handled it. So when he went to get the animal this morning, he did it without my consent.
So where are the full items, the 2 cows, the 5025G beggar rest, and the 5,000?
To put everything outside, okay? Everything needs to be outside. It's not supposed to be here. So those are the animals, and it needs to go. And I've completely rejected them, okay?
I know you said you are the head, but are you doing this in consultation with some family members?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so folks, that's the daughter.
Okay, so gentlemen, we just listened to Mammy Doe, but let me ask you, George. Let me start with you on this one. What's your reading, especially 24 hours later? We heard about this rejection of the gifts that were given by former President George Weah.
Well, traditionally, it's difficult to see in our setting for women to claim headship of family. And, no matter how powerful you are, the man always head the family.
Okay.
But what happened over the weekend was very dramatic, as you said. And I was surprised. No matter what, I know that the Doe family and former President Weah have been having some beef in the past. And in fact, the late Nancy Doe, when she was living, she went on air. She on video criticizing former President Weah for turning her down, for disrespecting her, for refusing to give her benefits and stuff. But former President Weah being former president of Liberia, and someone died from the family that he feels that helped them, and he helped him a lot, and he went there to sympathize with them. I felt that it wasn't bad in my view. No matter what, he was trying to reconcile with the family, because it was not just about the late Nancy Doe, it was about the entire Doe family. So if I'm to really put myself in between, I would say, look, she shouldn't have rejected the gift. But other minds will say the way the late Nancy Doe was treated, they don't need former President Weah.
But then let me come,
Around there,
let me come in before
Yeah.
Moses come.
Yeah.
You know, she was, you know, what is more dramatic about this is that she was at that meeting yesterday, whether it was Sunday or Saturday, when the former president went there, and she was present when the former president announced the donations, you know, the cash and the cow and the rice as well. So what, don't you think she should have done it at, you know, at that moment by saying, no, Mr. Former President, you can take these things back, then to sleep on it and then the next day to reject it? Do you think it's somehow political? Do you see any political undertone that?
I'm not really seeing the political. It's about reprisal. The fact is, she said in her speech today, or in her interview today, she told Ambassador Ase Yinambo to tell former President Weah that she didn't want the gift.
But why she couldn't announce it there at the time?
Because right there, according to her, she recognized Ambassador Ase Yinambo as a person who she should have spoken true, because he presented himself. The former president said, I was going, Ambassador Yinambo called me. You right? And so I decided to come to how to call it, sympathize. So right there, she said she spoke with Ambassador Yinambo to return the gift, but saying he didn't do it, she decided to do it because she's the head of the family. It is her mother, and she decided to refuse it. So that's what she's saying. But I know traditionally in our setting here, and you know, that's where, you know, I'm a little bit conflicted and try to put this in a better perspective. The woman, no matter what, cannot be the head of the family.
She can be the head of the family.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Moses. Moses, I'm sure he's also a traditionalist. Okay, Moses off. You can share the show, please. This is the nighttime heat, and of course, we are here tonight at 8:30. Our guest will be in. We'll be looking at the police invite, arrest, and the subsequent detention of former House Speaker for Nanti Kofa and others. Although they've been released, we'll be looking all into that from the inquiry up to the arrest. And of course, we're going to bring you videos as well, so that you can be on top of all what we're trying to do. Again, you can share the show. Just go on your Facebook page and tab a Nighttime Heat, 3 words, and you subscribe. You're going to watch the show live. In addition, you can go on your YouTube channel and see what, you know, just look for where they have the search, and you also tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to watch the show on YouTube. You subscribe and you hit the notification bell. Immediately you do that, you're going to watch the show, and anytime the show comes on, you're going to get notification. Besides, we are also streaming live on Prime FM Morovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM Morovia 105.5. We are streaming live. Is Moses back? Okay, it seems that Moses gone off. Okay, Moses is back. Yes, Moses, we're looking at the abrupt rejection of former President Weah's gift to the Nancy Doe's family.
Well, look, Sobert, to put it bluntly, it is often said that in times of death, you know, people forgive one another. And I know that. Yeah, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you now. Yeah, you are on.
Okay. So as I was saying, it is often said that in times of death, we reconcile, we forgive one another, regardless of what happened in the past. And we all here know that things were not on good footing with former President Weah and the late Nancy Doe. But I think out of kindness, he took upon himself that, hey, yeah, everything may not have been too good, but I would go to show to sympathize with the people, to empathize with their situation. I think that was generous on his part. Honestly speaking, I'm rather disappointed that uh Mrs. Doe's wife, I mean her daughter, I'm sorry. Uh Mami is taking this thing so personal. She's coming across as feeling entitled. And you don't treat people like that. If this guy took upon himself as a former leader, he went off, regardless of whatever the situation is, you know, uh, don't be resentful. To say that we're not taking anything from you, take this back. I think that's some degree of ingratitude. I hope I did not offend anybody, but honestly speaking, if I were a member of the Doe family, we would not have done that. That's ingratitude at the highest level. I'm really disappointed with what she did.
Before we came on air, Moses, I managed to get in touch with Isaac Yinambo, and from the texture of his voice and what he said to me, it seems that Yinambo is embarrassed. He's totally embarrassed, and in fact, I spoke to him requesting that I wanted to interview him at 8 o'clock today. He says, "Sobo, I'm trying to handle things. Things are not going the way we expect it." So he's totally embarrassed. Josh, do you think this is? This constitutes embarrassment, especially on the part of someone like Isaac Yinambo, who's a head of the family or a strong family member, to have invited to former President Weah to come, and then this is happening at this moment. You think it constitutes embarrassment?
Frankly, it is an embarrassment. But if I'm to look at it from the actual objective point of view, he embarrassed himself first. He's my own friend. Did he really talk with the family before such invite, or did he look at a personal relationship with the former president? Because he knew that this beef had been there. When Nancy Doe passed, there was a tribute, or how to call it, from former President Weah, and Mami Doe rebuffed and came up with strong statement against him. I think Ambassador Yinambo should have seen that there was a red line there. He saw all of the videos. So making any arrangement or such, he should have first had meeting with his family and get them one side before. I thought he didn't do that. Why he do that is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to him because probably he felt that he was in control, and whereby he wasn't in control. And how to call it? Mr. Sandy talked about some sort of entitlement. Look, Mami has an entitlement. That's Doe's family, all right? That's her biological mother, right? So she has an entitlement. But I feel that by already rejecting, and that's where my little disagreement with her is, because that's the former president of Liberia. I think he should be given some level of respect, right? But in terms of rights or entitlement, she has.
Okay. She has.
Look, let me just provide a little bit of clarification. And Mr. Kennedy, I beg to differ. Look, Mr. Weah is not head of government now. As a former first lady, the Republic of Liberia is under legal and moral obligation. And in fact, it is my understanding that this lady will be giving a state funeral. That's what the law provides for. As former first lady, it's an entitlement. But for Mr. Weah to choose to identify with the family, and Mami rejects that, that's being ungrateful. That's where I'm saying that she coming across as feeling entitled. Mr. Sober George is my friend. If he's going through a situation, I may choose to identify with him, and I may choose not to identify with him. Mr. George is not going to hold a resentment against me because he was faced with a situation and he didn't see Moses saying, "Oh, I'm not going to speak to Moses because he's not a friend." No. When you behave like that, then you are demanding. You are insisting that people treat you with kindness, and you cannot demand that. Giving comes from within. And so for me, to reject someone's kindness, don't get me wrong. It is her mom. She's hurt, as a result of what happened in the past. But when someone dies, we try to make up. We try to forgive. It can be so painful, man. She came across as very negative.
Okay, so okay, Moses. I think you made a point. Yes, Josh.
I think Mr. Sunny is missing the point here.
Okay.
The point he's missing is the guy others who think that when someone is living and they are in need, it's a time for you to help them. But when the hell someone going to go give to the dead? The person won't see it, the person won't feel it. The family saying, look, we don't, because of the way you treated us when our mother was alive, we don't want anything from you. Don't wait until she died before you come to show off. I thought, that's why I say I try to put myself in the middle. She's not supposed to reject it because she's bereaved. During the time of bereavement, as you said, it's time to reconcile.
Mm-hmm.
But if she rejected it and stood by it, definitely, that's it. So
my take is that gentlemen Moses and George, I thought that if she had any qualm that she's raising him now, she should have done it on the day the president took the gifts there. But to wait until sleep on it the next day before coming up, one would think that apparently she's not doing it on her own. One would think apparently she's been out teleguided, no influence to do what she's doing.
And you are right. But she almost scored a point in her interview that I want you to really get clear.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Ambassador Yinabo, former president said Ambassador Yinabo called him to go there. He was traveling. Ambassador Yinabo called him to go there. So he went there to go sympathize, so he gave gift. So she spoke, saying you, Ambassador Yinabo, called the former president to come here. Please tell him to carry his gift back. So when he refused to, when Ambassador Yinabo refused to do it, that's how she came public. I also feel that she was right for that. Because since former Ambassador Yinabo invited former President Weah to come to the funeral, so probably she thinking that, he came there as former Ambassador Yinabo's friend. So your friend came and made his donation behind the scene. Look, please carry back. I hope we get this clear. Your friend came, made this donation. I couldn't stand publicly to say carry back because it didn't come to me. He came to you and he came to sympathize. You call him. So please tell him to carry. That's what she said today. That's the point that made the whole thing to be like she played her role behind the scene.
Okay.
Why it's true that, as I said repeatedly, I thought she should have been how to call it, reconciliatory and not to return. All right. But when it comes to the issue of rights, to what this is, I would defend that for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. I'm Kame Moses. Also, the program that is being relayed by Radio Kwatiket in Bon County, Radio Gegeman in Nimba County, and Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. In Monrovia, Radio Witness FM is also relaying this program. And then we are also streaming live on our Facebook page, on the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. Just go on your phone, on your page, or your laptop or your phone, and you tap the 3 words Nighttime Heat. You're going to watch the show and you share the show. In addition, you can also go on your YouTube channel and you also tap Nighttime Heat. You subscribe and you touch the notification bell, and then you are live watching the program. Tonight we'll be trying to figure out. We're still awaiting our guest, Tier 1 supposed to be joining us. Dr. Lester Tainin also supposed to be joining us. Abraham Chroma, he's A.B. Chroma, former deputy. In fact, I know him well when he used to be at the Labrador National Police, deputy for operations, and then he went to the DEA. He also supposed to be joining us, and Jemima Wallo-Cody also supposed to be joining us for us to talk about issues that have been trending over the past 72 hours. We are trying to figure out what are the police inquiry, police invite, arrest, and subsequent detention of a former House Speaker for Nancy Kofa and others, whether it's positive or negative for our democratic credential, taking into consideration the rule of law. So trying to figure out that tonight. Yes, George.
Yeah. Yes. On the issue, the big story in town, that is the arrest and incarceration of the former speaker and 3 other lawmakers. Look, I'm not a lawyer.
No, we are not discussing it now.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be discussing it when the guests come in.
When the
But let me
guests
try
come,
to
okay.
take a few calls
Okay.
relative to what we've been talking about
so,
concerning the. Yes, Moses.
So,
Let me try to announce
yeah,
the number first.
okay.
Let me try to announce the numbers first, yeah, and then you can come in with your because I know you still want to drag on this whole issue that has to do with the former
Just
the
a
Nancy
second.
Gross family rejecting the gift. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So just a second. Look, we often hear people say an eye for an eye, tit for tat, and we cannot live like that. When you are faced with situations, sometimes you have to be human. And mommy, I don't mean to be hurtful, but the way she's coming across, her actions seems to suggest that there are bigger problems in the family. You know, what she did today is just a symptom of what is happening within the Doe family. You know, of her rejection, only because she say, as a Yenabu and others, it's also my understanding that she's not talking to the other guy or Zoe. I think what the guy you
Zopeno.
sent it, right? Zoe Peno.
Yeah, Zopeno.
So there's a bigger problem in our family, and that is in terms of what death. Your mother has passed. Let's bury the hatchet. Give your mom a befitting burial. But for you to be forcing with almost everybody because things not going the way you want it to be, that's a problem.
Okay,
That's a
so
problem.
let's leave it at that, and let's leave it at that, and take few calls while we are with our guests. Again, 0778-460-793. We'll have the first call on the line. Let's hear from you. Your name, where you calling from? Hello? Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm James Pratt calling from Congo Town.
Let's hear from you, James, quickly.
Yeah, so but thank you for the show, and I must commend you because you have done exceptionally well. You see, so what Mami did, it was bad. Firstly, she should not have done that, and I think even Kalato called OKFM, he said, after someone give them you sleep on it, later then you return it. So he got some political undertone. So according to Kalasco on OKFM, he said some hierarchy in United Party, I think they engaged, they say, oh, you tell the president we are gift bad, then we'll give you bigger gift. I think it's bad, you know what I'm saying? So this government, what they are trying to do, they are leading all into the dark days. Because the president is grossly incompetent, so that why he's driving all the way he's driving us.
Okay. Let's leave it at that. Let's take another caller quickly. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. What's your take about the rejection of former President George Weah's gift to the Nancy Doe's family? That gift was given, I think, on Sunday, and then on Monday we are hearing about the rejection of the gift. So let's hear from you quickly. Good evening. Hello? 0778, we lost that caller. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call. Again, 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat tonight. Again, 0778-460-793. Want to hear what you think about the rejection of the gifts from former President George Weah to the Nancy Doe's family. Let's hear from you quickly. Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay, sir.
This is Marwa Notion calling from the Senate bill.
Let's hear from you.
Yes. What Sis Mami did there, I can say she was right because she was right. So what the people need to do is just to talk to her and let her have our mother be given a befitting burial. But she was really hurt because her mother was denied. Her mother was denied by the former president. So please, we shouldn't politicize the thing, please. Let us just talk to the madam, and then after everything, then we can go to a certain course, please. Thank you so very much.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Okay, Mr. Morva from Johnsonville, Christian Community.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, people talking say, the president, we just say my brother, I stopped people from receiving your work. It's not true. They put will. What I want to say is that what he did is wrong. But she non period of time, which is doing anything on today. But she bring another person to and bring another person. So thank you. What I have to say.
Okay, let's take another call on the line quickly. Good evening. We'll take about 10 calls and we put a pause on that to take our guests in. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir George.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And good evening to Liberians. This is Quayle William Coffey, and I joined this conversation from the Sleepy. Well, let me appreciate you for the 30 points. Look, Shabbat, I think there is about time Liberians will have to learn. There's a saying that go give the flower to a man when he is alive. They did not say when he is dead. So, let me commend Nika Mamidu for such a bold step in teaching our younger generation how to move in life. Look, if our president, we have stood in the midst of the bereaved family, carried them like he was told by other Yenabu to have come there. Our president, why would you do that? If he said that, it means the people will say, oh, but the man was never remorseful. So he was here to have come here to sympathize with us, all of what he did to us. He's not even standing here to apologize to the bereaved family for what he did to our mother when she was alive. But now he's standing there all that I was told by Azi Rambo to come here. So it means that he was coerced.
Okay.
So the people say you were coerced. Everything you brought here, it means you were coerced on it too. So we will not receive it. We will reject it because when our mother was alive, not a day they did bring a one cup of rice.
Okay, so let's hold them.
From a younger age, what our parents did for you.
Okay.
So I think Mamito did well, and some of us will learn it as we go older how to move in life and how to move with people. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks. Let's take another caller. We'll take 3 more calls and then wrap it up. Good evening. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is Kafuma Sharif calling from Banange.
Let's hear from you, Mr. Sharif.
What Mami did was very wrong. They were disrespectful to the former president. One question I want to ask, is she the head of the family in the first place? Because for we the Muslim, when somebody dies, there's an elder there. That everything that will be presented should be given to the elder, the head of the family. Is Mami the head of the, what is Junior do in the whole president, the Junior of do? Yeah?
Okay.
Tradition requires that men should receive everything, not woman. She's just a female. She just want to show up.
Okay.
This is up.
Okay, I think you made a point. Let's take this other call on the line quickly. Good evening. Hello. We'll take only 2 more calls and wrap it up.
How you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Your name and where you calling from? Hello. Okay, it seems this caller is now on. 0778-460-79. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, it seems the caller is not ready. 0778-460-793. We'll take only 2 more calls and then wrap it up. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the Nighttime Heat tonight. Our guests are coming in gradually. 0778-460-793. That's the number to call, and you are live on the program. 0778-460-793. Let's see this caller. Good evening. Yes, let's hear from you.
Okay.
What do you think?
Irene G. Sherman.
Okay.
Concerning your topic about our former president wife and the daughter refusing the offer, if in my capacity, I would do the same. Give the man his flower while he's alive. The time they needed you as a son, you was not there. And then from the explanation, you have to be coerced to come to identify with the family. I want to tell mommy to thank you. She took a bold step. Because you cannot do that to me as a sister that you live with my father and my mother, or you have been like a brother to me. They are hurt. Mommy Doe is hurt, and I like her stand, so I don't care. Liberian people want to talk because we're good at talking and accusing people, but they don't know how she's faring. They don't know what she went through. They don't know what their mother said to them. They were nowhere around. They heard the issue and they heard that the woman was alive. As a former president, you must always make sure to identify with people while they're alive, not when they are dead.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you. Let's take this last caller quickly. Good evening. Hello? Yes, good evening. Please lower the volume of the radio. Lower the volume of the radio.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. Yeah, but actually, what the former president did to that woman, it hurt her because the men were in power for 6 years. Just imagine. Joseph Bagano was flying all around, were helping and traveling with them. But as president woman, you could not help the woman until the woman died. 6 years, you couldn't help that woman. And by me say you can't revoke it, I will send it back. So really, it hurt the woman. So the woman was ready to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Many thanks. We're going to put a pause on that. We're not going to take additional calls. Many thanks. Let's our guests already. Some of our guests are already here. We have to begin the discussion. We have, I'm sure, 1-2 tier 1-2 is on the line already. He's at the backstage. We also have in studio former deputy for operations, Labrador National Police, who later cross over to the DEA. He also is in studio. And so we're about to discuss. We're still waiting Dr. Lester Tinning to join us in the discussion. We are not taking additional calls. We'll open the lines later on. Again, share the show, please. Just make sure go on your phone and you tap Nighttime Heat, your Facebook page, Nighttime Heat. You're going to watch the show and you subscribe or you share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also follow and know what's happening. Also, you can go on your YouTube channel and you tap Nighttime Heat. As soon as you do that, you're going to subscribe and then hit the notification bell. Right away, you are watching the show on YouTube. We are also streaming live on Prom FM 105.5. Prom FM Monrovia 105.5. We have a couple of stations relaying this program. Radio Wologisi in Lofa County is relaying. Radio Kwatika in Bon County is relaying. And of course, Radio Gegema in Nimba County is relaying. And right here in Monrovia, Witness FM is relaying this program. Let's try to invite our guests now to the program. Let's invite 1-2 tier 1-2. He's been on 1-2 tier 1-2. Welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Great. Support Josh and the rest of the team. It's a great privilege to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation and especially the patience with trying to make this work. Am I loud and clear?
Oh. Yes, you are loud and clear. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time on the show. Let's also welcome the Deputy for Operations. I may know him as that, and not the DA. I don't know the DA. Let's try to welcome him quickly. He's A.B. Krumah. Let's try to welcome A.B. quickly. A.B., welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasing pleasure to be in the sight and ears of your listening public. Been a long while, since we hang out.
Yeah, sure. We're around.
I'm here. I know I want to apologize to your audience also for all of the miscommunication we had.
Yeah.
But better late than never. I'm back here now.
Okay.
so as to perform my little 2 cents to this debate.
Okay, so Moses and George, you can welcome our guests as well. Moses, first, you can take the kickoff.
Yeah, gentlemen, I want to welcome Mr. Wonto, Colonel Kumar. I want to welcome you to the Nighttime Heat. It's a pleasure to have the both of you tonight, and we hope that we can have a very fruitful discussion in the interest of our country. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to welcome Colonel Ibrahim Kurma, a criminal justice specialist, a trained professional. I know him very well. Bibra, I want to say welcome. It is. I hope that we'll have a fun time together. And,
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's good to see you, man. See you for a while.
Yeah, we here, man.
yeah, low corner.
Oh, yeah, corner. Yeah.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's kick the ball rolling. And of course, tonight we are talking about the first police invite, after which arrest followed, and then subsequent detention of former House Speaker Fernando Kova and others. We're going to talk about that, and of course, we're going to inquire: is it positive or negative for our democratic credential, taking into consideration the rule of law? And all started, gentlemen, which you all know, from the blaze. Let's upload this video showing how our Capitol building was on fire. Okay, so you just saw a gist of that. You saw how the Capitol building came on fire. That basically came when the crisis, in fact, was at the peak. But let's hear from you, starting with you, Mr. A.B. Krumah, before we can go to Tier 1 to our own brother. Police invite. Subsequent arrest and police invite arrest and subsequent detention of Fernando Kova and others. But let's look at the way the police handle the invite. The gentlemen, the lawmakers, rather, the former speaker and his colleagues were invited early 9 o'clock in the morning, up to 10 o'clock. They were there going through inquiry up to the late hours, and after which they arrested them, put a charge on them, and finally saw them into police cell. Now, do you think, because there's some argument that there was a little mistake, especially keeping them for all those hours before putting charges on them, and then how do you think the police handled that? You've been from that background.
Well, just so you know, I was former director of the CID as well. And so I handled investigation at that level. To be honest with you, I'm a practitioner. I'm also a lecturer of criminal justice procedure, and I'm also a law student too, just so you know. I just put all these caveats, all these things out so it can be clear. What I saw exhibited at the LMP, for me, is a textbook application of what the procedure should be, to be honest with you.
A textbook?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean?
That means it was within the confines of the law.
Okay.
It was done precisely the way I would have seen it. Yes, the former speaker, a very good friend, very good big brother, who I have interacted with very much, and the rest of the guys who were actually involved in this process. But the law is the law, quote unquote. When you have these things happening, I think we are on the right trajectory.
Please, someone is typing in the background. Can the person please mute his or herself, because that's a distraction? Go ahead, Colonel.
So I think we're on the right trajectory to see that we'll have the guts to invite the former speaker and sitting legislature. I think to adhere to inquiry that has to do with the rule of law, I think this is the beginning of setting a good precedent in our country. The investigation, this was a structural investigation that was done within the confine of the law, that, like I said, within the time limit. They got 48 hours, if possible, 72 hours to investigate. At the length of time, investigation has to be painstaking. You will not, when you correlate, carry on an investigation that you come to conclusion, you have, there is a proclivity, there is the tendency that you will have mishap. So I would advise that, yes, take your time, prolong it, allow the folks to be, the Miranda rights to be read to them. It should be done within the sight of a counselor. And that was accorded, I think. But the prolonging of the process, I think that's within the confine of whatever we do.
So is it possible for an invite for police to extend an invite to a group of people or an individual, keep them from in the morning or to the evening hours?
You have to write. At that point in time, they invited them. They were not under arrest. They basically had the right to say, look, we can't be here. And then they will arrest them. But when you are invited and you can't, somebody invite you to the house, you say, oh man, I don't want to sit in your living room today. I want to go back home. That's what it is. That's the police. That's the police right to do. So if you're a person of interest, you are asked to adhere to a particular set of procedure. And you say, look, I can't be subjected to this. I want to take my leave. You go. But when you subject yourself, when you are there as an invitee, as a person of interest, you have to assist the police in doing those things. We are here to the invitational level. Of course, yes.
Okay, before tier 1 to tier 1 comes in, there were 7 and 2 were released. Marvin Cole and South Foco were released by the police.
Yeah.
The remaining 5 were charged, all of them, by the police. Unfortunately, after a few hours, we heard about the release of one of them, Priscilla Cooper. Yes. Do you think, especially all of them being charged together? We heard today that reasons given was that the withholding cell, in fact, was jam-packed and they couldn't keep a lady. Do you think that's a strong justification, sir?
You know what? I am not at the police headquarters right now. So the Inspector General Police and the police authority, they will have their own rationale for excluding anybody in investigation. It is the police on our judicial system, our jurisprudence. It is the prosecutor who have the latitude, who have the luxury of indicting or not indicting, of excluding based upon the prima facie, based upon what they have, the evidence they have, based upon probable cause. If they do find out that, look, for some reason we are going to exclude this person is no more a material witness to the course of our investigation, they do have the right on our procedure to exclude that person. I think that's what they utilize. But I can tell you this though.
No, on the aspect of the release of Priscilla Cooper, what do you think?
That's the prerogative of the investigation. They have their own reason to say, look, Priscilla Cooper, who is also somebody within my district, say, look, we don't have enough, maybe the situation is not conducive, we allow the lawyer to sign for them. That's acceptable. The lawyer can sign, and probably you.
So that is at the discretion of the police.
At the discretion of the police, yeah. Because on our procedure, on our criminal procedure, the prosecutor can say, "Look, I'm going to indict this person. I'm going to use this person as a witness, or I'm not going to even include this person in my investigation." That's the prerogative. That's what is. It's a beauty to be the prosecutor, the man who represent the people in the criminal justice system.
Okay. George and Moses, let's hear from 1 to tier 1 2 before the both of you can come in. 1 to let's hear from you, your reading and maybe reaction to A.B. Nkrumah.
In all totality, disagree with what Colonel A.B. Nkrumah provided. And I think there's a lot of contradictions here, and let's start from there. What
Mhm.
is most important here? I think he said he's a criminal justice practitioner. And what the law require in basic criminal justice principle is due process. Both domestically and international standard is driven by that. According to our Liberian Constitution, Article 20A says that all persons is guaranteed the right to life, liberty, security, property, privilege, and that is a legitimate right. And what we saw violated here was one, their legitimate right to have privilege, and their legitimate right to have access, and a legitimate right to have rights. The other aspect is Article 42 of the Constitution spoke about legislative immunity. And he said the discretion is based on the police investigation. They can choose who to be able to provide immunity to. And I think I disagree with that. That show impartial, that show, some sort of partial connectivity to the entire process. Article 42 provide immunity from arrest to legislators, whether they were at specific duty within the time of arrest. That's a conversation to have, but we could definitely argue on that on a fundamental basis of that. Then the procedural justice and timing. I think you asked a very great question. Also, you spoke about the timing of the entire process. Immediately, all of these lawmakers, including the opposition lawmakers, were invited as person of interest. From there on, there was a delay process from in the morning when they were invited on Friday, and the timing, the date also is very interesting. There was a delay process up to 5 p.m. and the police indicted them. And the fundamental basis of this is that they would not have access to put in their bail process. So there was an abuse on the basis of police discretion, the law enforcement, and the constitutional democracy that we all preserve in this country, and that the United Party campaigned on in their manifesto, was to some extent not driven by their actions, specifically on these opposition lawmakers. But there's very interesting things that I want to be able to talk about. In this country that we currently live in, the government library have had very interesting, headway internationally recently. One, the United Nations Security Council, which is a pillar of democracy and the pillar of the rule of law and security. Liberia was primarily accepted to the Security Council. We all celebrated that. A bipartisan work that started with President Weah, ended with the current government, which is very interesting to be able to note in this scenario. The government deprived every fundamental pillar of the Security Council in their actions. And this is extremely terrible. The fundamental pillar of the right to peaceful dissent. We saw the stand-up bearer, the chairperson of the CDC, was completely manhandled outside just because he went out and stood up, to show solidarity to his lawmakers that are part of the party. We all saw that. Today, the police issued a report saying that while they disagree with, the manhandling process, they're going to review the video process to talk about. So there's fundamental selective justice in the entire process. You spoke about procedural judge. The idea that you indicted 5 lawmakers and you exonerated one person on a fundamental basis to say that there's no prison to be that you don't have a separate prison to include the other person. Yes, what is interesting, all of these lawmakers are legitimately elected in their district. They are not flight raised. They have no challenges to say they're going to escape. There's no fundamental risk attached to them in any form and manner that would demonstrate that they will escape or something. And the government have all of the right. Immigration, they have, pathway to be able to recognize whether any of the lawmakers want to be able to escape the country. But interestingly, what we saw today was a demonstration of force of power, completely political dissent on the basis of the government, demonstrating unfair fundamental process in their judicial process. So what we need to be able to recognize in the conversation is that whether you understand criminal justice system or not, there was a complete demonstration of weaponization of justice in all totality today. A violation of Article 42 of the Constitution. Due process was also not provided on the basis of the timeline they serve in prison, even to an extent that a certain lawmaker in Abu Kamara had all of the tendency of medical emergency, and the government refused to provide him that bill. So this in itself is extremely concerning, and this is where the conversation is. There was something very interesting today also. The Central Bank of Liberia introduced a policy that contradicted democratic norms. Allegedly, the policy that were produced by the Central Bank, which instituted that all insurance companies in Liberia should seek approval from the Central Bank before insurance is being provided and accepted by the police in all scenarios, was purposely done in a way to block out lawmakers having access to speedy building process. And the contradictions here is extremely fundamental in this conversation. That's why we need to be able to recognize. What we see here is that hello, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, I think let's hold you there in the meantime. Let's hold you there because we got other panelists on the program, and of course they'll want to ask
Okay, but
AB.
you didn't give me the timeline that each panel will speak.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
all.
fine. So let's
Yeah,
hold you there.
yeah.
We'll come back to you. Let's hold you there. We'll come back to you. Yeah, come here, AB. Okay.
What basically the gentleman, who's this guy? I actually know him.
Which discipline?
Huh?
Okay, great. I'll provide my credential to him. I'm
Yeah, I mean, I
calling
just
for
heard
being
it.
a second master at the University of
Oh, you
Oxford.
can
If
leave
you
it.
want that, you can be able to know that for yourself.
Huh?
He's
I'm
one,
a
two,
graduate
tier
of the
one, two.
University of
Oh,
Oxford.
1, 2,
Does that
tier
help?
1, 2. All right. 1, 2. Let me the reason why I accepted this invite is to come and profit view on the procedure and the police situation here. That's what it is. Whatever issue you have with the government steps, those things with the legislative power, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to say, because there is structuring here. The legislature have that right, the first branch of government, whether they can come subjugate themselves to police investigation or not. That's not what I'm here for. All right. I know Tier 1 has its own view on those issues that can be discussed. You can take that at a different forum.
Okay.
But the essence of this particular discussion was to see those things that actually transpire. And I just proffered view on it.
Okay.
But I do appreciate his knowledge on all that has happened from J.J. Rawatan up to now with regards to the legislature. I've seen folks in the states where a certain legislature is invited by the police. It's said a mayor of a particular state is arrested by the police and brought under the jurisdiction of the court. Those are things that happen all around the world. To say that a legislature was invited by the police and then you have issue with that, what transpired there, the 48-hour rule, all of those things that happen there within the police custody, those are things I thought Tier 1 to 1 discuss.
Okay. Let's hear from George. Let's hear from George.
Thank you.
It
is easy. I'm not a lawyer, but it is
Moses, 1 minute.
I just want to clarify. You didn't ask me to agree to any analysis. If you're having a panel discussion, you can have it. I'll definitely leave out. But I have my right to disagree, and I have a right to be able to have a formal.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can disagree here if you wish to. I mean, there's nobody. It's stopping you from disagreeing. But let's hear from George.
Most of the time, several people come to studio when they appear. They just quote Constitution without going into detail. Article 42. It's clear. It's written in black and white. I'm not a lawyer. But it says a lawmaker, members of the legislature, both the Senate and the House, cannot be arrested for opinion they express during session. They cannot also be arrested while going to or coming from session, except for felony and treason.
Yeah.
Right? Is arson a felonious crime under the law? It is. What you need to understand, or the guys need to understand that when you quote the Constitution, you explain it to the people who go talking to the wider segment of the population. So the crime, the charges against those people, they are felonious crimes. They are lawmakers, it's true. You understand? But the charge, if you look at the charges, if you look at the charges, look at the detail, you'll not be going through all the 1 million minutes talking here. Because it is clear the lawmakers are not immune to arrest. They are not immune. But they can be arrested for certain crimes. It's listed in the Constitution. It's in Article 42 that you are saying about.
Okay. So just interject a little bit.
Yeah.
Come back.
If I could just come in, so please.
Yeah. 1 minute, Moses. 1 minute.
Just what the chief said. Just what the chief said. I mean, basically, we're not going to lecture. I've never come. I'm a lecturer. Actually, I teach at a graduate school in Zion. I mean, I do like to lecture on these issues. But that's not what I'm here today to do. I'm here to proffer views on these things. You give me the question, I address it, and then we come to some common understanding. But to come and listen to the lecture about Article 42, when you fact the nitty-gritty of Article 42 is clear. It's clear as daylight. What was being arrested for? Whether the police have legitimacy, you want to question that, fine, you can do that and proffer view as to your legitimacy. That's a different thing altogether. But the issue of what transpired is something that has been debated, that has been investigated over time.
Okay, gentlemen, I have a video here, and we'll start with you when we play that video. Well, let me ask Moses to come in quickly. Moses.
Yeah, quickly, gentlemen. I just want to disagree with Connor Coman. He used the word prerogative. And Connor, I'm not a police officer. I have no training in police, police training or law enforcement or whatever. But when you use the word prerogative, basically you're telling us that the police has the discretion to either say they will charge Moses Sandy or not to charge him. Now, in law enforcement, I'm sure you and I will agree on this. The decision to charge someone or not will not be based on prerogative. It has to be based on what? Facts, evidence. That, hey, we have probed, we have determined that what this person did is in violation of social law, the person can be charged. I just thought to say this, I think you are in error to say, well, the police can decide to say, hey, Moses Sandy, you can go home or you cannot go home, or we can charge you, we cannot charge you.
Are you speaking relative to the release of Priscilla?
No, not Priscilla. I heard you talking about, we're talking about the charges against the lawmakers. And let me complete my thoughts.
Let me put up a checkpoint. Just 1 second. Moses, it's been a long while since I left the States. I've been trying to get in touch with you. But listen, when I say the police will have the right, on our law, on our procedure, on our system, police got a right to take somebody who participated in the crime and say, look, I will use this person as state witness. That's the police prerogative.
Is that in the case of Priscilla?
No, I'm saying, I'm just talking, you talk about prerogative.
Okay.
I just want to understand one thing. Moses, you know I work for the Superior Court of New Jersey. You know that, right? You were there. So I know the procedure.
Abby,
I just want to say something.
Yeah,
I just want
just
let Abby land. Moses,
let me land.
Okay,
let Abby land.
Let me land.
We have to protect our guests.
Okay, Jim, go ahead, Jim.
Moses, the police can decide, people who participated in the crime, decide to look at somebody for prosecution purposes and say, look, it is the police prerogative to say, look, this person, I will use this person as state witness. So the word prerogative, the word discretion is not a bad thing to use.
Okay.
It's good for prosecution purposes so as to get to the bottom of the processes. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate objective is to protect life and property, to serve the society need. And that's what the police will be empowered to do. That's just constitutional right. That's right that they have to protect our country. So if they use that both back in the States, in England, anywhere, the police will have to use that right, that they have the prerogative. They have the right to use that particular discretionary power so as to make sure they come to the ultimate objective of prosecuting the wrongdoing that they've been asked to do. Okay. So Moses, don't let prerogative take you apart. You're a journalist. So when somebody uses prerogative, look at the context in which I'm using it.
Okay.
I'm a practitioner, you are a journalist. So we all can come to these things. I've practicalized the use of prerogative all my life. I can decide to take, like I said, you participated in breaking this particular door, and as I look at your connection, your action that actually precipitated it, I can say, look, I will use Server as the guy who will be telling my story differently.
Okay.
And that makes it prerogative.
Okay. Thank you, Abby. Yes, Moses here.
Quickly, Connor, again, with all due respect, I know
Yes,
you've
sir.
been in business for years, and I really respect you for what you say and what you do.
Hello.
But
Moses, I
again,
think you have to adjust. Moses, I think you have to
yeah,
adjust your camera. Yeah, you have to
okay,
adjust your
okay,
camera.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, Connor, what I was saying here is that
Yeah.
if the decision to charge or not to charge is to be made, it's not going to be on the basis of how the police officer feels. It has to be
No, no,
based on
no, feel.
evidence before the officer. Take for
It's
example,
not
let me
feel.
look up that. Let me make this more simplistic. If the speed limit is 65 miles per hour, I am doing
Okay.
90 miles per hour. You
Okay.
pull me over. When you pull me over, you have the evidence before you to show that, hey, my man, you're doing 90 miles in a 65 mile zone. Okay. You may choose based on what you saw to give me a
Mhm.
ticket or not to give me a ticket, because first you're going to run my profile. You're going to run my profile to determine whether this guy has a history of, speeding and all of that. You can say, okay, my man, I will charge you or I won't charge. So that's where I'm coming from. So before you make that choice, you are looking at evidence. And when you said that the police could choose whether they're going to charge somebody or not to charge somebody, that's why I was saying it cannot just be someone acting impulsively. It has to be based on what the evidence is before the officer. That's you and I are saying the same thing, but I'm
Let me
just
just
saying that it has to be based on evidence.
Moses.
Okay,
Moses. There is something called plea bargaining. Plea bargaining. You can plead bargain yourself out of charge that was police will bring. You must say no all along when he's to pull you over for a speeding ticket. You can go to the prosecutor office. They tell them, man, you plead bargain the kid. You take it from moving violation to just dump normal charge. They can drop that charge for you. That's plea bargain. That's police prerogative. That police making that decision. Look, let us not trivialize this thing to traffic ticket, all of these things. This is serious situation. This is
I agree, Colonel. Yeah, Colonel, let's move forward.
Sandy, you're a good journalist, and I do respect you very much. So we should not reduce this thing, relegate this thing to speeding ticket and all these things. These are clear. It's a clear situation where police will have the right to charge and not to charge. The prosecutor is the only person can go in there and say, look, I'm going to prosecute the person. This one I'm not going to prosecute. I will use this person as state witness. That's the police prerogative.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to take that. But in this case, this is a serious matter. There's an issue that has to do with the burning of our first branch seat, the seat of our first branch. And I'm not saying that they are guilty or not guilty, but this is the charge is an allegation that has to be adjudicated in court.
Okay.
And then basically come to some finality in the process. But in the beginning, the police, there's three components of the criminal justice system. The police introduces cases in the criminal justice system. The police is the one taking the case to the court system. After the police carry on that introduction, then it is left for the court to adjudicate, to find out, because we have this thing, we have the adversarial system in our criminal justice system, where both the defense counsel and the prosecutor will come and battle in, present evidence to the jury or to the court so as to find out who's right, who's wrong. And this is our jurisprudence. This is how we manage our process in our country.
Okay. Let's hold you
so
there.
at the end of the day, after the police have done that, after the adjudication process, then you go to find, you assign when there's an assigned guilt, then you go to correction. We will have to correct people here when they follow the law. Those three components, we have to apply them in our country. But the police will have the right to present a case. And I can tell you, look, whatever happened, whatever you find, whether you like Gregor Cuomo or not, whether you like the police action or not, the presentation of the evidence there was something that textbook mark, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, the collection of the information, the evidence that was exhibited, and the presentation that was made was something that met the procedure that they have. Whether when it's subjected to prosecution, whether it will stand that time, that's a different case.
Okay, let's hold you there, Colonel. Let's try to play this tape let's upload this tape quickly. Producer,
Well, before you, I think you did not include me in this conversation. I have a report.
Okay, go ahead quickly. Go ahead.
Take your WhatsApp. Konokoma said he worked in New Jersey, and for me, I like to provide evidence. And I disagree fully with the prerogative conversation. And I provided you can share the information that I provided to you on the New Jersey pretrial justice manual. So first of all, police do not have the prerogative to make judgment on who to be
No.
released.
What are you saying about New Jersey now, sir?
You just provide an argument specifically justifying that even in New Jersey that is a rule of law, and that's what I'm
Jersey. It's the United States of America. It's the common law practice. That's not what it's not even a common law system.
No, but that's not true. That's not true. What in the United States, judges, not police, make decisions on who to release. Prerogative is a dangerous thing that you are setting.
Look at that
whole thing. I mean,
why is this guy misinforming the people here? The police presented this to the judge.
I provided. So, you are the journalist. I provided you this. Can you protect me?
Who present the case to court, bro? The police present the case. Police accuse cases in the criminal justice system, brother.
Give me a chance to provide.
One thing, you guys have a lot of opportunities to ride freely, to have free rides on these things.
Just sit and just talk.
You're going to have easy ride here.
The court is not presenting the case. The police
Here's the point.
Okay. The police, when you do the case, after it's introduced there, it goes through the adjudication process.
I disagree. And I have a chance to
listen to the defense counsel and
which part of the New Jersey Constitution specifically supports?
I said United States.
I said United States. Don't New Jersey. I said the whole United States.
Give me any constitution in the United States that support your argument. Any
the current constitution. The current constitution of the United States.
Because here's the
fundamental thing. Constitution of the United States provide for the police to introduce cases. There are three components in the criminal justice system: the police, the court, and the correction system. The police introduce cases in the court system, in the criminal justice system, and then it is adjudicated by the court, and then it is now corrected by the correction department. That's the plain thing.
Primarily,
you come here with a mindset that my brother.
Mindset. You're not giving
my brother. Okay, you're talking to a guy with a master's degree in criminal justice, bro. I come from the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I want you to understand that. So you're not going to ride with those from the spirit to me.
Okay.
You're not going to do
that. Let's put it here.
Nobody care Kimbo belittle credential. I have a degree.
Okay, so don't
but you have
relegate my credential.
You have limited or no knowledge on the topic on this thing.
You don't have yourself. I just told you the prosecution is responsible.
Provide one single evidence. Which part of the Constitution in the U.S. support your argument? Which part of the Constitution?
Everybody will support it. The prosecution have the right to indict. The president have the right to.
I just provided a manual. So be fair to the conversation. AB said he worked in New Jersey. I provided the manual on.
I work for the Supreme Court of New Jersey. Yes.
Yeah.
I work for the Supreme Court of New Jersey.
I provided a manual that disagree. Well, so can you take your time?
I just tell you something. What manual?
Okay.
The police manual.
It's long. I'll read it.
That's why he does.
I'll read the manual.
Guy is a terrorist.
I'll read the manual. Let's try to move forward.
Just the manual.
You didn't even protect me. Nobody gave me a chance to be able to go out. You should have given me the chance to explain.
I will leave at 5:30 my time. Sober, I will leave at 5:30 my time.
Okay, Moses. Yeah, I know at 9:30. So let's play it. Listen, let's play this tape quickly. AB.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's play this tape and listen and hear the contents and talk about this tape. Let's move on.
We have the rule of law. We have every way in this place to be able to listen to you, but we're not going to accept this. We're asking the Minister of Justice, all of the security apparatus, including our friends, to investigate this letter. People who are culprit, we will deal with them, and we'll set the tune for all other people who, when they get angry, they burn down the police, they destroy this. We're not going to allow this. So we just want to say, to console the members of the first family in this government, that we're in sympathy with them, but this destruction we have to stop. And we're not going to allow this to happen in this country. Okay. People who have problems, we have the way to remedy all the issues in this country. So that's all I have to tell you. I'm happy that you are here. You will look at yourself, but we're not going to settle for this. This is not a place for hooligans. This is a place for responsible people who are here to serve the Liberian people. This country is poor, and I don't care what they do, we'll build this country. For the
Okay, so Wanto, let's hear from you. Let's begin with you, Wanto. I'm coming. Maybe your microphone off. Wanto, let's hear from you. We got a tip that we just played.
Thank you.
Yes, Mato. What you make of what the president said, and with what is coming out of the police?
This is a fundamental challenge. This is the fundamental challenge to the entire, where we are currently. First of all, President Bouaka is not an investigator, and maybe hopefully, if Colonel Abi Kumar is being fair in this conversation, you agree to that. President Bouaka provided an investigative conclusion before even the investigation started. That is making a determinant immediately by saying this is an arson. From the moment President Bouaka made that pronunciation, the police have tried every aspect in their jurisdiction to justify that claim. Because one, they don't want to fundamentally make the president being aired, and they want to justify exactly what he said. I was on Spoon when they brought a couple of experts from different areas the last time we had a conversation. The experts, specifically from the interview from from the current chief of police, he stated that the experts are not coming to change any part of the investigation. So the fundamental investigation that experts were brought from different parts of the U.S., fire detective and so forth, did not change any part. In fact, they only spent 1 day in our country, I think 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days not sufficient in any capacity to justify such an incident as such. So the current playbook we are currently on is the playbook of the police. That is the justification of arson. When you are obviously in that scenario of making that sort of, just immediate determination on such a very serious investigation, you have to be able to prove. The key question we always ask the president is, what determination justify him determining the entire scenario as an arson on day one? Did he conduct an investigation? Absolutely no. Where did he receive a determination from? Nowhere. Just preliminarily looking at the case scenario and making a determinant factor. So this is the fundamental scenario. The fundamental scenario is that the police is working at the pleasure of the president to justify what happened at the Capitol because he made a premature determination, which is an extremely dangerous blunder in criminal justice proceeding. So, and this is where we are currently. So the police said they had their clues and justification, but what we saw at the Capitol. Let's listen to. I'm not disagreeing with Abi Kumar credential. I just disagree with him. That's why I provided evidence. Maybe you can share the evidence with Abi Kumar. I don't speak without facts. I provide facts in my analysis. I provided a legal jurisdiction in New Jersey because he said he worked in New Jersey, and I said specifically, if you work in New Jersey, then fundamentally your argument on police making a preliminary decision on who to arrest and who to release is wrong. The judge in New Jersey make that determination, and that is by constitutional mandate. And that is what I shared. You can be able to share with Abi Kumar. Maybe hopefully when you share with him, you'll probably get it. So the point here is that procedure was released without any substantial evidence of whether she provided a bond, whether medical case scenario. None of these satisfied her release. The only part that satisfied her release was the police said there was no availability to her cell, so they released her to her lawyers. In fact, the public did not even know she was released on Friday. So what we understand with this is of dangerous conspiracy. One is that procedure was placed in as they are, as to some extent they cooperate to justify the regime clampdown to opposition, because she's part of the regime coalition. So the justification is the fact that we have her there justify obviously that that you know the regime is playing a fair and partial case. Which this is
Okay. Let's hold you there. Let's hold you there, Tia, and hear from Moses quickly. Moses will want to leave. Yeah, Moses.
Yeah, quickly. I just want to say, look, I support the ongoing probe. However, there are significant challenges. And just to piggyback on what Mr. Want to say, the preemptive statement that emanated from the president on December 18 when he went to the Capitol, and he told the lawmakers that the Capitol is not a place for hooligans. Right after the incident, that created a serious problem for the probe. The probe they had just initiated a probe, not concluded. The president made a preemptive statement that, hey, this place is not a place for hooligans, implying that the reporter asking it was the act of hooligans. The government has to prove that. Then number two, the director of police also made similar mistake. After the president's statement, the director of police granted a news conference in Monrovia, and he told the reporters that based on their investigation, and that was just like what, 2 days into the probe, he said based on their finding, the police was of the opinion that what happened at the Capitol wasn't as an attack. After that, what did the police do? Conocoma came to the United States and recruited his personal friends of the president, the fire investigators that went to Liberia. The head of that group is a personal friend of the president. He donated a fire truck to Liberia. Many of you who follow the history, the contemporary happenings in Liberia, that guy, those people donated a fire truck to President Joseph Yuma Boakai. The guys are personal friend of Conocoma. Anyone during a sober reflection will say, but what do you expect these people to say? They are compromised. Conocoma knows that if you are doing business with a friend and you are in an investigation business with a friend, that raises a significant red flag.
Okay, let's hold you there. Moses.
So quickly, the guys came and reconfirmed what Conocoma said, what the president said, and this has created a significant problem for the poor. Thank you.
Okay, Moses. Yes, okay, yeah. So we can go to
Moses. Listen, the reason why I was not armed with that whole fire truck situation, I mean, that's not what I'm actually here to discuss here today. The issue of Conocoma, Director Coleman, or Inspector General Coleman, preferring views on these things, as you said, the president basically, the president said that this is an act of hooligan. He didn't say that the speaker, or I mean, the former speaker or any other person actually carried it out. He asked that there will be a detailed investigation as to what precipitated the particular arson attack, because we all know that it was an act of vandalism, it was acts of hooliganism. The fact that we had a preliminary investigation, preliminary evidence that there was material that was not of electrical fault. It was something that was brought in that brought about the fire, the fire situation. That information basically will prompt anybody to say that this was act of hooliganism. That was probably where the president was speaking from.
Okay.
But that's not the point of argument. That's not what I'm here. I'm not even going to verify in all of those arguments. But I just basically want to say the issue of the investigation. What transpired? Where are we? And how this stuff is going to be adjudicated. I'm for right now. I'm not police partner that the adjudication part because I'm a lawyer in training. So I want to look at the evidence. I want to look at the procedure. I want to look at how it would be adjudicated and who will be held liable. That's what I'm at. But for now, the preliminary thing I do know now is that what the preliminary action, the initial investigative techniques and procedure, I thought we were within the confines of the law. I thought that due process is going to be served. The fact that they acted within the confines of the law, the 48-hour situation, I would have had different views today if all the guys were detained without charge in the police custody, under police custody. I would have preferred a different view. But for me, as consequentialist as I am somebody of law background. I basically speak to the law. I want to make sure I'm a professional law enforcement officer. I am a practitioner. I'm also a lecturer of criminal justice. So I want Wanto and Moses, who I have a lot of understanding about, who we started our time together in the state. I want you to understand that coming on this radio today wasn't easy to get me here to give a view and opinion on these things. And I'm here basically to help with the debate. As to how we can perform.
Let's try to speak with David Coty quickly. David Coty has been on the line. Let's try to speak with him. Hoping that we can get it quickly on screen that David Coty is on the line. Dave, welcome to the Nighttime Heat.
Thank you very much, and I'll try to be very brief. You know, we have a parable in Liberia that goes like this. Only cow owner talk cow matter. Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
When the town chief is calling cow owners to a meeting, you know you don't even own a billy goat, don't go there. I'm saying this to say that this is a security matter. And when people like Conor Krumah are sitting in studio there, who are you to argue with him? Now, I hear somebody talking about the president didn't have to call people hooligans. He said this place is not for hooligans, and that is true. Thank God I'm a former lawmaker. That place is not for hooligans. Only hooligans can burn the Capitol building. So, you know, let me not be too long. I just want to make this part clear. That place is not for hooligans. It's for respectable people. No. Now you can see what is happening. We hope that this investigation will go on, and whoever is responsible, I don't care who you are. You know, one thing I noticed about this country, the stupid people are voting.
You gotta manage your words now. You gotta manage your words.
You know, I'm not talking about people on the panel that know, not people who are sitting there. I'm talking about generally in this country. How can people in this country run and cheer people who have stolen from them, destroy them, and they just run behind them and clap them day and night? You can't do that. And most of you're not going anywhere. The last time I was on the show, as I was leaving, you said I shouldn't. You're not going anywhere. You were still.
Okay, I think we went through it too. David Coty is so interesting. Moses not going anywhere. You listen to the Nighttime Heat, rented on Pram FM 105.5, and of course, our guests include Wanto Tiawanto. He's based in the U.S. and A.B. Krumah. We expected Dr. Lester Tinney. He didn't come, but you know we continue with the show. A.B., let me hear from you. Considering what had happened, but first, let's try to play this video, looking at the scene at Central Prison. Let's look at the scene, and then I'll come back to you with this question, A.B.
So folks, keep following TTV. My name is Emmanuel B. Thomas. This is we are coming to you live from the Murray Prison compound. first, keep following, keep sharing. Welcome to TTV. My name is Emmanuel B. Thomas. We are.
Yeah. So we are decided to play with the president. Just walk. What are the past?
Okay, that was just a scene at the Morales Central Prison when they took the former speaker for Nancy Kofa and others when they took them to prison. Now that they were released today, Ibi, let me ask this question. The issue of the traveling ban that has been placed on them, it was done when they were in prison, which we all know they have not been released when the government placed the traveling ban on them. The near exit Republican. Do you think, because there's other views that was inappropriate, to have placed that ban on them when they were still in prison, because they were already still in the holding cells of the government? There are individuals who believe that ban was not appropriate now until they were released. What do you think? You from the from the security background?
The process of protecting this country is within the government, the first branch of government, and through the police and the Ministry of Justice. I mean, the executive branch of government through the police and the Justice Ministry, charged with the responsibility of ensuring that people are accorded fairness in the judicial process and in the prosecution process. And so, at the end of the day, when you are in custody, pre-trial detainee, you are not being convicted. You can be signed for. You can be sent to the adjudication process. It is within, again, Sandy, listen, you have the prerogative, the prosecution. Prosecution is the most important member of the criminal justice system because he is charged with, he represents the people in the criminal justice system. He's charged with the responsibility of ensuring that people receive justice. He represents the people, so he can decide, let's charge these people now. And then let's put the new Republican, new exit Republican on them for now. So whatever process they have there, I've just put new exit Republican on the Fadigas. They have that now. The fact that they're running away from justice, we ask if they enter, they can go back out. So that's how it works. This is how.
No, but for them, they were out of prison when you apply for that new exit Republican. But for the former speaker and his colleagues, they were still in prison when the government placed that ban on them. You think that was appropriate? Because there are a lot of views who think that. No, but what the essence of that when men are in your custody?
You talking about legal expediency, or what is it you talking about? You talking about the legality of it or the expediency?
Expediency, legality. Do you think is appropriate?
Legality,
because the thing is, no. You just okay. Let me hear from my good friend. One two.
Am I going?
Want to welcome?
Okay.
No, tears back. Okay. Yeah, George.
Really, as I said, I issued an addendum when I came and I said I'm not a lawyer, but based on my own professional background and knowing our country, I think it wasn't wrong. The reason being that the crime is a bailable crime.
Yeah.
It's a bailable crime. So somebody could go and bail the person out, boom. And the person leaves the country. And this particular crime, the government gives high priority to it to proving it. So every step that you need to take that falls within the means and bounds of the laws of the Republic of Liberia, you should take it and make sure that, because it's a big case. If the government loses this case, it will lower their morale. If they win it, definitely it will increase their own morale, right? Because it's a high profile case. Yeah. So you take every step in line with the laws of the country to ensure that everything is done according to the law until this case is over. That's what I saw there. Being in jail does not mean that they can issue nil as the Republican on you. I don't think it's anything wrong there.
And I think what we see now, like you said, is going to set up some precedent, and the government will have to do all they can within the course of the law to ensure that these people's rights are protected, and they are protected within the confines of the law. And I think this is going to be a hell of a case. I want to take my copybook, my pen, as a student of law, to sit in our courtroom to listen to a guy like former Speaker Kofa, because this is going to be.
Who himself is a lawyer as well.
He's a super lawyer.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that I respect him a lot as far as his legal knowledge, and it's a good juror. And I want to be there, listen to him proffering views on these things. So I'll be there. I will watch this case closely, to sit in there and take notes so that I can go to class the next time when I'm back in school.
Okay.
Just to put it up.
It's one to back?
Yes, I'm back.
Want to welcome.
Okay. So I heard.
Yes, we're talking about the issue of the new exit republic, why the people were still in prison, in the holding cell of the government. You think that was appropriate?
So I think the essence of a travel ban is to create a preventive measure which is designed to restrict someone from leaving the country. In my earlier premise, I lay out that the symbolic nature of how a legitimate lawmaker could be a flight race was not justifiable in any of the case scenario. And in fact, there was no justification in why they were detained from Friday to Sunday, given on those premise. The second thing also is, I may slightly, I've been disagreeing a lot. I may slightly disagree again that there is no provisional, aspect in our Liberian criminal procedure law or our constitution that allow the government to impose travel ban on a person already detained prior to conviction. I'm opening an argument. I'll be very happy to listen to that provision. There is absolutely no provision. In fact, the relevant statute in Chapter 13, Section 13.1 of the Criminal Procedure Law govern that if there is a pre-trial restriction like bail and appearance bond, it says nothing about executive travel bans. Neither does it provide something we call court-imposed travel restriction that was done in that scenario. What we're seeing here is a violation of presumption of innocence. Article 21 of the Liberian Constitution guarantees the presumption of innocence, that is, adding punitive restriction on travel ban of person in detention. The second thing also we see, and the reason I add international law to this conversation to provide a global context, because according to the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the ICCPR, Article 12 says that everyone should be free to leave their country, including on their own, and should have the right to not be subject to any restriction, especially those that are provided and necessary to protect national security and public order. Again, it comes back to the same scenario. None of these lawmakers had any intent to travel. None of them were at flight race. In fact, they have presumption of innocence, and they will, and just as all of the panelists said, they will defend themselves in court. We have to be as honest as possible and rational in this country. There is erosion of our justice system. There is the law enforcer trying every possible means to justify the definition of arson. And let me tell you, I was deliberating on arson. Let me just complete on it quickly. The definition of arson here is a deliberate act of setting fire on a property with malicious intent. All intent is a criminal intent. To be able to justify arson, you have to demonstrate a source of accelerant. That is gasoline, chemical that indicate intentional, ignition. You have to provide multiple ignition points that is suggesting the coordination rather than just an accidental fire. There should be absence of a natural cause, that is electric fault or accidents. So when the president made that pronunciation on day one of the entire incident, that's the biggest blunder in criminal justice systems. You cannot justify anything on that nature. You cannot justify whether the absence of a natural cause for an immediate incident. You cannot justify the absence of ignition, or you cannot even justify coordinated attack with malicious intent. So we have to be fair in this conversation. And this is where the law enforcement agency have tried every possible means to justify the president's definition of arson. And that is where the fundamental flaw is in this case. And,
Okay, Ebile, let's hear from you. Thank you.
Listen.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
You made a point.
You know, I want to a very good regurgitation of some of the facts, and I really see it very amazing, to be honest with you. But I can tell you, when the president of a country finds himself with the head, with the seat of the first branch of government on fire, he comes there fresh in the morning, seeing the fire still blazing. I think the reaction, if a young guy like want to come one of these days and finds this kind of situation, I wonder how you react. So the president, as the person who's responsible for the protection of this country, will find these things. I think his depiction and his understanding were within that particular phrase where he would say, "Look, this place is not the place for hooligans," and I basically side with him, because the House of Representatives is not a place of hooligans, if at all. And they said this place it must be investigated, and the investigation has been conducted. You can disagree or agree with the processes, with the procedure that was applied in there, that can be adjudicated in court. I'm saying to you, I'm actually on the side of what transpired, what the police actually proffered, they viewed the police proffered. And to tell me, say that the guys, because they are representative, they are members of the French government, they can be subjugated, they can be brought under the jurisdiction of the court. I disagree, bro. That's how it works in any clear democratic precept. They can be brought under the jurisdiction of the court by our very constitution, which says that the guys can be brought in even by committing a misdemeanor offense, to the point where when they are on their way to work and coming from work or whatever they said in section, but not when they are accused of committing felony, they can be brought in the jurisdiction of the court. That's what happened. And the young brother must understand that to actually steer this country into a better path, for guys like him to come and exhibit his international law, international relation experience he had, these things, these steps must be taken, these steps must be respected. Indeed, this is an opportunity to provide the avenue for our country to start to look at the rule of law. And I'm hoping that these guys are accorded fair treatment, fair trial, they are accorded due process, so that we find out, so the process is adjudicated. So I am one guy who wants to see the application of 3-part component of that part. That's what they're supposed to do. They've done it. They send it to court. It now within the judicial system, we now have to now apply that particular process where the defendant will come and the plaintiff will come and battle of idea, legal situation. So students like us will sit down, write note, and copy whatever has been proffered.
Okay.
And I see from that point, I want to see somebody go to jail, go to prison, and serve the time for that process, or whether somebody is exonerated. When that happens, then we have now begin the process of advancing our country.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we'll be opening the lines very shortly, but I have a video to play. Before we go to that video, let me ask you, Colonel Krumah, and 1-2-1-2. There's this argument in the public that when during the WIAS administration, when the former central bank officials, when they were arrested, they were placed in handcuffs.
Yes.
But those who are peddling this argument said, but we didn't see that happening to former Speaker Kofa and the rest of his colleagues. They were never placed in handcuffs. In fact, when they were being taken to the central prison, they were not placed in handcuffs. And since they were arrested, they have not been placed in handcuffs. But under the previous administration, the former central bank officials were placed in handcuffs. And there are individuals who think, I want to respond to this, Krumah. There are people who believe that it shows responsibility, or it shows a responsible government honor this regime than that of the previous regime.
It's talking about preferential treatment.
That's it. So let's hear from you, Pierre. What do you think?
Oh, you want me to answer for it?
No, I want Pierre to answer.
Sure, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Right. So there's a very interesting scenario. Again, the reason I try to provide context to these things is very important. First of all, the missing billion, I wrote an article today on it. Missing billion came from a series of misconceptions on President Weah. There was an extremely dangerous targeted campaign in less than a year of his presidency. So what happened was the opposition, in fact, that entire process today that members of the current ruling establishment are using as a talking point, they were the one who initiated that advocacy for the missing billion, where they said there was specific central bank missing billions that was done and so forth. So the idea whether Speaker Kofa was handcuffed or the rest were not handcuffed, that does not substantiate a foul play in this process. The foul play here is the legitimacy of the procedures. One, there was a delayed process. They went specifically as person of interest. They delayed them up to 5 p.m. when there was no process to process a bill, and they incarcerated them on the basis of.
Let me hold you there, Tia. Let me hold you there. Tia, let me hold you there. The argument is that the argument is that there are two sides. Some said the way they were treated, it shows that this administration is more responsible than the previous, because the previous people saw how the former central bank officials were treated, were placed in handcuffs and demonized.
But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because primarily they were incarcerated for a whole weekend in prison. The interplay of incarceration, they show a dangerous foul play, which we legitimately proved by the procedure error.
The former central bank officials were also incarcerated, which we all know they were incarcerated also, as the same way Kofa, his colleagues were incarcerated, but they were treated inhumanely, but placed the handcuffs on their heads. But we didn't see that happening under this administration. So do you agree that it shows the dichotomy between the two administrations, one being responsible, treating its official responsibly, and one not doing the same?
No, there's absolutely no responsible distinction in the procedures here, because is one thing that you should know about is these guys, they weren't arrested. They walked to the police station as person of interest. So they were called out for investigation. In fact, before even that time, Speaker Kofa and the rest of the other guys have been at the police as person of interest in the investigation process, aiding them more than 5 different times. So they went specifically to the police station as person of interest, and they were indicted at 5 p.m. There's a whole different scenario here. And that's why I don't see the distinction, because it's
you don't see the distinction. Ebi, let me hear from you. Ebi, you were I'm sure you were in the police. You were in the police.
Well, no, I've placed a lot of guys in custody. The procedure I learned from the academy: when somebody is a suspect, the person is brought to court, the person is placed in handcuffs, the person presented to the sheriff of the court. You take a handcuff from there, the sheriff places them in the custodial environment so that they are protected and they protect other people within their own environment. That's what it is. What about discretionary power, that discretionary situation that was around with this current situation?
Hey, I know you wouldn't want to play into politics, but how do you see it? There are individuals who think that the fact that the last administration, former central bank officials were placed in handcuffs.
The late Charles
Saliv and
a very good friend of
Milton Weeks and
fine. Those guys are a good friend of mine.
Fine, and you have to place them in handcuffs. Okay,
I wasn't there. I would never put Charles Saliv in handcuffs.
Okay, so I know you would
probably would have taken the same decision, the same discretionary power.
Okay.
And, what the word my man Fred from the use? What was Sunday from the use?
Yes.
The process of what you want me to say. Guys, please.
You go.
You go?
Yeah.
Well, we have the prerogative to actually use discretionary situation. Maybe it is one of those discretionary part, but the procedure is that the guy should be handcuffed to the court.
Okay.
But if it wasn't done, it's not a crime. I mean, maybe they have better way to protect to present the procedure.
Okay.
To folks.
Let's watch the tape before I open the lines quickly. The tape that has to do with the CDC chairman arrest. I know the lines are already blinking. People want to weigh in on the discussion. Let's take the tape relative to the arrest of the CDC chair.
Yeah?
Please watch the video. Please watch the video. I don't know what you're watching. Yeah, you are a security man. I want you to watch
National
the
chairperson has been beaten. The national chairperson. The national chairperson. The national chairperson.
Okay, so AB want to start with you on this line. Tiawanto, please hold your position on this, and no, let's hear from AB. AB, you saw the way the police picked up the chairman of the Congress for Democratic Change when he was whisked off and manhandled. In fact, we saw how he was thrown in the back of the pickup and handcuffed as well. Do you think that's appropriate from your standpoint?
You see, as a policeman, as a man responsible for operation,
We want you to be honest on this one.
I'm very honest.
Okay.
As a man responsible for police operation, for all of my career, basically, I tell you, when situation presents itself, you have to be very tactical. I don't know the mindset. I don't know the level of threat. I don't know what precipitated Councilor Freeman's action. Who's the one too? I don't know what precipitated his action then. But I thought that the fact that the guy was placed in custody, I don't know whether he was handcuffed before he got onto the pickup, or
they handcuffed him when they put him in the back of the cab.
Because I remember one time when they tried to pull him, he came back and he resisted. He came back out of the pickup. That I saw. So apparently, in putting him back, seeing that they didn't want to actually get him back from the pickup outside, and then probably they took the decision to put him in custody. That is to handcuff him while he's there. But I mean, it has its own ramification. Whether those are things that you would do, a series of action that the police officers will actually take when they have this situation. And I like to do some, normally after these things are done, I go back to ask, what transpired? What precipitated this? Why did this happen?
Do you think the police need to launch a probe into the way the chairman of this was?
It is going to be done. There will be a probe as to what transpired, what, when, how, who.
Why was he bundled like that?
Yeah,
No.
That would be the procedure. After there's always is post-action review.
Okay.
You know, whatever any smaller operation that happened, go back to police headquarters. There will be an investigation as to what transpired, what happened, when, who did it, why did it happen. Those things have to be cataloged in creating an environment of fairness.
Okay.
Because police are supposed to provide fair treatment for a citizen. So whether or not the treatment that Council Attorney Danga received, whether it was within the confines of the law, whether it was protected, whether the practical nature of that particular operation tactics, whether it met, whether there was any resistance, whatever the situation was, that will be investigated and there will be some adjudication of the process.
Okay, Tiawanto, let's hear your take on this. You saw the video.
Again, by President, I don't know, so, but did you read the Independent Human Rights Commission report on the police?
No.
That came up. You didn't read it at all? It came up in March. They say human rights violation in this country is at the worst ever than the last decade. That is even surpassed the tenure of Manas Salif. That means it even cited police brutality in that report. So this is a pattern. You know, it's not a one-time scenario. Is that we are basically in a police state in the current country. But let's go to the issue on what we see here. There are a lot of things to be able to talk about when we are analyzing the scenario of the CDC, chairperson. The first thing here is that he was nowhere in threat as a threat to policing process. He went there primarily to stand in solidarity with the lawmakers. Before you even provide an arrest according to policing process, there must exist probable cause. There was no probable cause. He did not prevent any immediate. There was no need for preventing an immediate threat, and you can watch the video again. You should use force only when there is justified means where an individual poses a threat, whether an individual provide physical threat, or whether they provide clear immediate threat according to policing rules. What we saw there was the chairman walk peacefully as possible, hands up, which was a symbolic nature of surrender. You can watch the video over and over. The chairman had his hand up, completely surrendered to police. He did not resist arrest in any way possible. His rights were violated according to Article 21, Article 20, even the International Civil and Political Right, Article 9, the African Charter on the Right of Human Rights, Article 5 and 6, all under that symbolic nature protect the individual nature of a civilian in such scenario. So again, what happened? The police were demonstrating a show of force when they realized that he's the chairperson of CDC, which they think would be a justification to probably increase their budget or to be able to show some level of presidential favoritism, that they are being tough on CDC, because that's the scenario, tough on CDC, and they violated the right. In the very United States, there's a part of the Constitution called the Fourth Amendment, which is the U.S. Constitution that protects against unreasonable search, seizure, and excessive use of force by law enforcement. The U.S. Supreme Court also have ruled on this scenario. If you read the Graham versus Cohen ruling, specifically, it demonstrated that the use of force must not be an objective, reasonable, based on the totality of the circumstances. Even in Tennessee, there's another process that was ruled in similar scenario. The court provided a ruling that deadly or excessive force cannot be used against an unarmed suspect who is posing no immediate threat. What threat did Janga Koro pose? Lifted his hands up in the air. No justification in law for his brutalization. Absolutely nothing we can be able to find. So this is dangerous for our democracy. This is a country that has been accepted on the UN Security Council, and we should have this kind of conversation. The next U.S. State Department report for Liberia will be extremely dangerous. And I'm saying this on record. Remember, so I was on your show, and I said it. The next U.S. State Department report will be dangerous because the Independent Human Rights Commission report is already extremely dangerous. So there's no justification for that. His right was violated, and if he was in the U.S., the police will be paying millions of dollars to him because of violating his right. But in this country where, the government, does not provide any legitimate pathway to have justice, and they control and weaponize the justice system at their way and pleasure, ultimately, we don't have any hope for being able to find, a proper jurisdiction in this kind of scenario.
Okay. Yeah. Again, George, you want to come in quickly? So
yes, I don't know what my brother Wanto will say about the ongoing protests in California. What is happening there in the United States compared to what Mr. Cole did? Mr. Cole, being a political leader or chairman of a political party, brought his vehicle, stopped the vehicle in the middle of the road in the video. Moved the vehicle. I heard the police yelling, move the vehicle. He left the vehicle in the center of the road, then he moved across the road. That side and went to apprehend him. Okay, whatever he said, what is not clear, whatever happened there was not.
And you think he was apprehended
Yeah, he was
appropriately?
apprehended, yeah.
You think he was?
Yes,
he was apprehended?
that was a protest scene.
Okay.
That Mr. Cole was not driving on his own on the street and somebody went and arrested him. He went to a security risk area. That was a protest scene. All right. So I'm happy that, I mean, I know Mr. Wanto saying that in the US to pay him millions of dollars. You know, when in the US will pay millions of dollars, the way peace exists right now, there is no protest, nothing. And I'm moving, policemen comes and harass me or whatsoever. There is no security risk there. They pay me millions, Mr. Wanto.
Okay.
But when there's a security risk area, I go there, I could be arrested. I just have to succumb to the arrest until when they see nothing, they will free me at the police station. They will pay you nothing.
Okay. So,
yeah, please.
yes,
Just-
quickly, AB, so
just-
can open the lines, yeah.
Just to speak a little bit about the use of force. The use of force, consultant, is something that police authority around the world we actually guide against. So, Mr. Want to understand that the LMP is a responsible organization. I will hope that the folks at the LMP now have put all together. There's a lot of structural adjustment that we done in the LMP, taking into consideration all of the situation that we had in the past.
So you don't see anything wrong with a little force used on
No.
Jangaku?
No. I didn't say
Okay.
anything wrong with it.
No, I'm
I
just
said there will be an investigation done.
Okay.
Like you say here today, we have to do the thing within the confines of the law.
Yeah,
Even the
sure.
police officer deserve their day in court. Due process will have to be accorded. If they did something within the course of their action, their work, there will be adjudication, there will be due process provided, and there will be some remedy towards that. Because the essence of all of these things, these guys didn't leave their houses to say, "Look, let's go on the street today, we're going to do this, we're going to do that." There has to be some premeditation, there has to be something done to actually that would have caused some of these issues. So I'm not justifying anything when it comes to use of force. That's not what I'm doing. But I know
Please, let me provide this clarity. George said
Yeah,
that there's
quickly.
no case. He said there's nowhere in the U.S. where on a protest scene anyone have been awarded millions. And I guess again, apparently maybe he did not read it. In 2020, the George Floyd protests that occurred in Denver, Colorado, 12 protesters were awarded $14 million after police used pepper balls, tear gas, and rubber bullets during peaceful demonstration. Again, it was demonstration. The Jangaku wasn't even demonstrating; he had a hand up in the air. In Columbus,
Okay.
Ohio, the Black Lives Matter protest in 2023, paid $5.7 million to 32 protesters citing clear abuse of power. Could go on Occupy Wall Street in 2011, 2024. NYPD made mass arrests using baton and pepper spray on demonstrators and paid $17.5 million. Then maybe we can come to Africa if he says this is the U.S. president. The NSAS protest in Nigeria also provided a precedent. Apart from the protest,
Okay, so let's leave it at that. One to our last blinking already. We don't have sufficient time. We have to go to the. Let's take this international call quickly before we can take this local calls. Let's take this because this guy is from overseas. He wants to make his contribution quickly. Let's take this call before we can take other calls. Again, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat right here on Prom FM 105.5. You still want to share the show? You can share the show, and your friends, relatives, and loved ones can also be on top of what is happening. Let's take this call on the line quickly. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sava. And my name is Kalasco, and I'm driving, going home, listening to your show.
Okay. Let's
Well,
hear from
again,
you.
let me say thank you. And, I listen to the panelists, including Wanto, and I see people trying to say the man is making research. Of course, going on these kind of occasions is very appropriate to make research and speak from an informed background, not just from a feeling, okay, say, I like the group of people. Look, it is very clear that the police is being politicized and weaponized by the current administration. I, Kalasco, was arrested purely on the basis of being Kalasco. I was never at a protest site, went to take a gas at the gas station. A group of police came and just said, "You're arrested, man." They arrested me, carried me to Central, did all kinds of things to me. After court hour, rushed with me to the court without a lawyer representation and without reading a charge to me to the court. Paraded me and carried me to South Beach for 2 days. So who will say that that is not weaponizing the police? Of course. On this current Fonaki Kofa, we all know that Gregory and the rest of the other police, we know how they have influenced everything that's happened based on some of the actions that they have met against some lawmakers that was accused. You arrested 5 persons, like want to say. You say the other person, because they're from the rural establishment, that you don't have cell for female. But there are many females that are languishing behind bar today. But you say you don't get cell for them, so that's the reason why you let them go. And you call lawmakers, they are stakeholders. We not said no. We said nobody's above the law, of course. But these people, they have constitutional mandate. They are lawmakers. They're not going to run away from Liberia, like somebody was saying, running away. No. So you call them to police station, 10 a.m. You delay them because you have a preconceived notion to send them to South Beach. Only because Mr. Bwaka went there and already labeled other people.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate. Let's forget about the sentiment. We know some of you never voted for CD and you will never like George Weah. But at the end of the day, the reality is visible for us to talk about, rather than trying to label Wanto as, he's doing research. Yes, he's doing research appropriately, and it is appropriate for him to do research to speak about these things.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
All right, Kalasco, before you go, please, 1 minute. Hello? Kalasco. Yeah, before you go, is the former president, is he badder or less badder about the politics being played concerning his around his gifts that he gave to the Dose family?
No, he's not. Like the president said, he went there. He know the relationship and between he and the people from that end, and he went there purely on the basis of that relationship. So if anybody who's trying to politicize that relationship, it is at your own detriment. Look, today we were informed when the women and other people came to meet the president we have today. They clearly said they extend their apologies based on everything that is happening. But we were informed today that the Dr. Mami was approached yesterday because it was on Sunday when the president, whether the women made that appeal to him that they wanted to do something on the mat. So if Mami were called this morning by other people from the rural establishment to bring back everything that George Manneh Weah gave for the people so she could bring it back, she were called. That was some of the women said today, that some of them even confronted her this morning. And so why is it that you're trying to politicize everything that is happening? Because they call her, certain rural establishment people call her and say, carry it back.
Okay.
And without informing other people, she took it. It is our own detriment. What President Weah did is purely on the basis of the relationship, and it is it. He's not bothered by anything.
Okay, please hold the line. I think AB wants to talk to you. Hold the line. AB Krumah.
I would agree with you. Knowing President Weah for what he is, I thought his gesture was within the humanitarian posture, considering the relationship he had with the former with the late Samuel Kayando. I thought he was genuine in the presentation of the donation. Yes. Again, I don't know the intent for which Mamine will actually do what she did, but I thought President Weah was genuine in his Sunday. But back to the issue of 1212. Yes, when I said, I'm sure you were quoting me when I said I like him. He's a very smart guy. He's done a lot of research, but most of his research is done here on this particular topic. We often view as to what happened, what precipitated certain action, not giving any kind of legal judgment as to what transpired or what didn't transpire.
Okay, Director Kroma.
Yeah.
Director Kroma, can I please ask you? Director Kroma, thank you. And I don't want no any hard feelings about everything you say. You are a legal practitioner and you understand what you're doing or understand what you're saying. But I just gave you a scenario because what we're talking about here is politicizing.
Chief, I beg you. I just wanted to make sure to lay down. Let me lay my opinion and you come back with your analysis. Look, when we said that he done a lot of good, he done research. Well, I can sit down, ChatGPT, that's what ChatGPT is all about. You can do ChatGPT research. It will give you all of what you have. You put there violence on the streets, police brutality, will give you all the scenario and you can cite all in this situation. But what I'm saying, let's do those research within the context of where we are. As far as the issue that is up hand here, that has to do with the prevailing situation. Like I said in my issue, Attorney Jangako arrest by the police is something that will have to be investigated by police investigation, by the internal affairs to see exactly whether it was foul play, whether somebody overstepped the bound or not. But I can sit on this podium and tell you, this is what it is. I am, besides being a practitioner, I'm also a student of law.
Okay.
I cannot give you a definite situation as to what it is. So when I said that the incumbent out there done a lot of research, yes, you can do a lot of research. I can sit on here, like I told you, sitting on this platform right now, and I can put up a 250-page paper right now from ChatGPT about police brutality, about other stuff, and I can cite all the cities in America and even in Liberia.
Okay, so we'll have to take additional course, Ebi. Kalasco, are you through now? We'll have to take additional course.
Yeah, okay, yes. We gave other people the opportunity, but I just wanted to say clearly that, yes, Colonel Kroma, the police is being weaponized and politicized by the current police director. I cited clearly, I'm an example. I was apprehended on the street, placed behind bar without reading my rights to me, rushed to court, carried me to South Beach, and everything was done just within the period of 30, 45 minutes. So anybody who sit down and say, yes, this current police is not being weaponized, and Gregory Cuomo is the architect of everything that is unfolding. I mean, you don't know what is unfolding.
Okay, many thanks. Let's try to take additional calls quickly. Thank you, Kalansko. Let's try to take additional calls on the program. We have limited time. Please lower the volume of the radio.
Yes,
yes, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, I'm James Fat calling from Congo Town.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to I think he deliberated well. You see, that's why this country, trust me, will go nowhere, and for the country to go somewhere, you have to have earnest people and people who are not sycophantic and unrealistic. Maybe Clover, you know what I mean? He will sit in studio there, then he almost like you see black things here is white. What how they put treating us? You know what I mean? Let come to Jangako situation. Jangako, let me be succinct. He put his hands up. Every command is a police officer. You know what I mean? Or train one at that. If someone puts their hand up, well, what it tells you, that means the person surrender. They say brutalize a man. You know what I mean? Beat the man and drag the man in the car.
Is that good policing there?
Okay.
Every command try to lecture. Or then let me come. Somebody, I come in there.
Yes, quickly now. We have to take other people on the line, please.
Okay, then the president issue. Our investigation is an arson attack. Who does that? How will you just scared of something that you deny me, thought twice, or someone deny me, advise you? This is an arson attack. Then how did they running what on the issue of President Kupo? No,
you made your point already. Please, we can keep you on the line. We have to take orders now. 0778460793. Again, 0778460793. Let's take this caller. Good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Good evening.
Yes,
good
sir.
evening to My name is Segufana in Pache. Some of you also how the show now we started from when you have sport.
You say?
I said the year the two workers going to say. My night is so again.
Your line is cracking. We're not getting you well. You have to change your location. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I said, look at the two workers going to say. My second made another statement talking about a government and Mami to refund the thing. But look at what Mami working with the government or she living with the government. But let me say this: so I'm begging before I jump in now. If you doing the kind of discussion, I'm begging call people that get legal money, legal background, or the legal criminal justice. Men that want to everybody know want to is sedition. And what not even what
no, we're not going to attack them. We're not going to attack personality. Let's discuss the issue.
It's not attack.
Let's discuss the issue, please. We're not going to attack personality. You call and state what you want to talk about, and not to attack somebody on the program. No, let's take another call on the line. Good evening.
Good evening, Slobo. Hello.
Yeah, let's hear from you, sir.
Yes, my name is Edwin Fambul, and I call from Monrovia.
Let's hear from you.
I listened to your studio guest, and I think Konokoma made a lot of salient points. First of all, Wanto is actually quoting citation from cases, from opinions from the U.S. Supreme Court. You can only do that in this jurisdiction if we don't have laws on our book that speak to those issues. Our penal laws is clear on obstructing law enforcement officers' duty and what the penalties are. What the chairman did yesterday could be classified as trying to obstruct the decision of the court, because those lawmakers have gone to the court. The magistrate has passed his decision that it should be remanded at the Monrovia Central Prison until they can file a bail bond for them. You going to the prison compound as a party chairman who also galvanize your party supporters to go there to go obstruct the function of the police officers who were carrying on a mandate from the court. So of course the police have to react. Okay. And we need to be candid. The other thing that the CDC guys are not saying, why are they not asking why did the police like Safoko and the other guy off the hook? Because there was no probable cause. So if President Cooper did not go to jail, it is because the police have not found any kind of probable cause to say, well, she's supposed to be incarcerated. She could be a person of interest, but she's actually not involved in the crime, because Presida, let us get it clear. She was the head of Root, I think, of Root and Order or so. So therefore, she has the custody of maintaining and keeping the surrounding of the Capitol building where the legislators are, where the blow house is. So therefore, she became a person of interest. But it doesn't mean that she's directly linked to the crime.
Okay, you made a point. Let's take another call on the line quickly. Yes, just take note. Just take note, and you will respond. Good evening. We're taking the 5 more calls and wrap it up. Yeah, let's hear from you.
This is Pascal David, as usual from the State.
Okay.
So I listened to Mr. Coman. Unfortunately, he's supposed to help to ensuring our disadvantaged youth are transformed. But all we saw was fighting at the DA. I don't know whether they were fighting just or it was just that were fighting them. Today, they have come again to back a government that has been deemed reckless and very unlawful. One time told you about the Human Rights Report, ranking this government as UAB. Be very honest for one. 5 persons have gone to the police. They're supposed to be in prison. All of us searching at 8 o'clock. 1 person is out on grounds that there is no field mixture. Anybody who gets sent supposed to believe that kind of argument, and you sit on the show and you support a government that's supposed to rescue people that have been reckless, and you think we're supposed to call you to back you. So I've always said, after your 13 years or 15 years of ruling, there will still be like Bureau.
Okay, let's take this call on the line quickly. Yes, Amy, please just take notes. You respond. Yes, hello. Let's take this call. We'll come back.
Okay, Colonel Kuma, thank you for your expose. You know, that's what good professional can do. That's why you ask the mayor of the arrest about the party chair of CDC. The mayor said, I don't know what cause of the arrest. You think police, what made it today? You see police will now arrest somebody today. But you go park the car in the center of the road. They say, take it when they say no. What is that? So today say one to them they are solo girl of CDC. So everybody know that one. So they say that better in a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
So anywhere what job
we're not going to continue with that. We want you to discuss the issue and not to attack. Don't attack personality. Please discuss the issue. We'll take on 2 more calls quickly. We'll take on 2 more calls and then wrap it up. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. You hear the Pascal attacking AB Kuma. You know what? If somebody talk about one to them, you want to cut me off. So I attack AB Kuma on the show like Pascal. They attack. So someone want to you want.
Okay. Are you free talking now?
No, but if you don't do that to
all right, talk quickly now. Talk quickly, talk. But when you want to attack, I got to protect my guests.
You protect your guest, but you don't AB can't put that.
But I didn't attack AB. Okay, sorry, you made your point already. Let's take the last caller, please. Time I saw the caller was 8 after 10. It's 10:33. We have to go. 0778-460-793. The last caller, 0778-460-793. That's the last caller, and then we go from here. Good evening. Good evening.
And good evening to your studio guest.
Yes, sir.
Calling from about Newton District 16 to be specific.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I listen to AB to Pounding, and I listen to Tier 1 too. I've learned a lot. AB who claimed to be a master degree in the criminal justice have not provided one constitutional provision of what you say. A slogan is deliberating on a sub-record. They just keep hijacking the man. Say all our things that people even understand. He said you're talk.
Okay, let's take the last one. You made the point. Good evening. Please lower the volume. Yes, let's hear from you.
Yeah, what I want to understand from Kuma, AB Kuma. What you mean? When you come on the show to discuss issue about the country, about what happened. So us, the Fadiga got to do it. What you mean they running around? Somebody running away?
You know them? You know the Fadiga? You know what you do them? Hello? Okay, she gone off. No. Please put the microphone quickly. We'll have to go. It's about 10:35 here.
I said to you,
we're not taking additional calls, please.
Exit Republican support when you got somebody who is a fugitive,
Mhm.
somebody who the court has found guilty, that person basically should not leave the country. And the Fadiga, now that we have the new Republic, it's been placed at the order of the borderland, and the Fadiga will not be allowed to leave this country now unless they pay my 1.6 million.
So they in country?
I don't know yet. We're trying to find them. Anywhere you see them, please let me know.
That you elect you?
Please let the court know. So
What's my percentage of that 1.5?
No problem. We'll talk about it later on. We'll do that. So when you find them, bring them over, because listen, this is not a private institution. This is something that went through the civil court and it has been adjudicated and they've been found guilty by our laws. So they're not bluffing, Abe Kumar bluffing. I'm just telling you what is trust. That lady who's saying, why did I can say my truth, you say your truth. We can always say I had the opportunity to be here. I left my house to come here to sit here. Whatever in my mind I can say, but I just want to go back to the whole issue of what
quickly
spoke about. You know, Carrasco be man. The man aide to the president at big position there. So when you proffer view, you got to take it very seriously. I just want he and the other guy who spoke to understand that my presence here, my disposition, basically was not to give any direct situation as to where they are. I was just giving a professional view as to where I saw the situation going. So to come and say, well, and I did mention Mr. Wanto, like I said to him, research is something you can do. At this time, the AI has done very, very well for all of us. I can sit down right here and I put on my ChatGPT something, I put police brutality, it'll give me, or I can sit on any radio station and just cite them. That's research. I'm citing it. I'm not making references. I'm not quoting. I'm not citing. There's no citation there. That's what I'm saying. And I wasn't being derogatory. I was just saying the fact. And so we've come here, we'll ask questions to talk to the other guys with regards to maybe not providing any constitutional provision. That's not what it's all about. I've cited to you that we have a responsibility to this country. When you sit in the chair that I sit in, when you come from the background I come from, my brother, is not about trying to exhibit what you know, because we've already exhibited that in all of our interactions here. And I'm exhibiting that on a regular basis in my classroom. I teach a master program. So I am not going to bluff about it, but I can let you know that sitting here is not about citation. It's not about giving you constitutional provision. I can sit right here and give you verbatim.
You got a few seconds.
That's what it is that we do. So it's been a pleasure. And again, I can tell you, I'll utilize the little 2 seconds I have. If we see the Fedigas, let us know, let the court know, we'll arrest them, the fugitive, they run away from justice.
They are your brothers now, you could pardon
They're
them.
not my brothers. They are people who are against the law. They've not subjugated themselves to the whims of the court. They have to be brought to justice.
You're asking for too much money, or plenty of money.
I asked for 5 million. I was giving 1.6 million.
1.6 million still plenty. You think Fadi guys do have the money to
You
pay?
don't go around laboring people. You don't go around castigating people if you do not have money in your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Tia. Want to quickly, Tia, let your parting comment.
Great. It's very interesting. So for example, start with the other caller who said, when you're inviting guests, you invite constitutional people. Just so he should know, my first degree in New York was done in a bachelor, majoring in criminal justice and double minoring in education, communication, and history. Another very interesting thing is I'm a graduate of the University of Oxford, #1 prestigious school in the world. It's not ordinary. And I'm soon to be a second master degree holder at Oxford. And the young man also can Google me. You will probably see me addressing some of the most prestigious stages in the world, including the UN General Assembly. So some of them, they have a presumptive nature that once you're a seditian, that's the perception, is that seditians are unsophisticated. Well, fortunately, seditians are, the most sophisticated people in this country. The difference is that they are not flamboyant about that sophistication. So the young man, that's a lesson for the young man. But there are a lot of things also to be able to go about. You know, the idea of research. When you invited me for this show, Sabah, for us at Oxford, we don't come to a conversation just because we want to come to a conversation. We have debate at Oxford Union. When you're having a Discord debate, you cover facts, very research-oriented evidence, and you must be combative in discussing facts. You know, I'm not being combative just to shame anybody, but I'm coming to the Discord with fact. If I have a conversation where, for Josh, for instance, said, you know, there's nowhere where a protester in the war have been, you know, have received millions in fine because they were brutalized. I must be able to provide facts for that, because that's a wild accusation, you know, and that's exactly what I did, you know. So interestingly, this is how we have conversation. That does not mean I don't respect all of the panelists. I respect them, but this is a conversation we are having, and it must be backed by substantial evidence. In my closing, I want to say this. You know, this is a very interesting time for all of us. I've always said that President Boubacar is making the mark to reconcile this country. He's deliberately, you know, creating heated division in this country. He came with a mandate, but the mandate is a very slim mandate. This country had one of the most heated, divided electoral process. The difference was less than 18,000 votes. So it's nothing, absolutely nothing. Less than 18,000 votes, that means the country is divided. President Weah has equal propensity of authority in terms of constituent masses as compared to Boubacar, giving on the voting percentage in precinct. Almost 50% of this country voted President Weah for a second term. That is a mandate. So you need to reconcile this country. What we're seeing here is I don't know.
A few seconds, please.
Because few seconds.
Yeah,
maybe I'll come back again. But thank you so much, and for giving me the time. I'm very happy that I was able to create this time. I also appreciate the rest of the other panelists. Hopefully, you know, when I have the time again, I'll definitely accept.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to plan. I'm trying to plan the program. Tier 1, 2. I'm trying to plan the program between you and Martin Colley. Anytime, as soon as I get
that young man
Martin's,
will not accept. Don't waste your time. He won't accept.
No, I will try my all means to get him.
If you ever
thank you very much.
If you do that, I will pay for the time. I will pay for the time and increase triple the time also. But thank you so much for the audience.
Okay, let me hear from my panelists quickly. George,
thank you.
Your first time on the program tonight, man.
Yes, and it was great. Just that sometimes it is our million entry, so we have to take time. Some of us coming here would be checkmating people. That's why I want to go there. I had to go for the tour of the Constitution. He was very blatant. It was wrong to mislead the people about the Constitution when he said a sitting lawmaker cannot be arrested. That was wrong. I had to go for the tour. It's clear. It gave a condition under which a lawmaker cannot be arrested. It also gave a condition, a crime by which a lawmaker can be arrested. I mean, no matter which speaker. So I think some of those researchers were talking about when he does his research, to come with accuracy. Now all the research papers, sometimes some of those AI things cannot come straight. So we came to provide some of those balances and all that thing. And we do our best also to start helping to balance the show more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, George, and of course, thanks to Moses also. You want to? Okay.
Thanks for the time. Engaging, and I had an opportunity to listen to you for the second time. A young man who got good future, a bright one too, that I read, and I do want you to understand that seditions. Anybody who takes seditions are dumb people. They're not telling the truth. But you can't have a guy like you and a guy like Kalasco and the rest of the guys to say that party is a dumb party.
Okay.
Right, guys. I got my man Tarawale, and with double masters from John Jade as well. So you guys are good. It's a good engagement. It's nice talking to you again. Anytime, if I'm less busy.
Yeah, sure.
If I'm not in Zvedru or Maryland.
You always out. Okay, so let me just recognize a few persons who've been watching. A few names quickly. Ophelia S. George said, watching from home. Saliki Traore didn't say where he been watching from. Clara Kuju Mala didn't say where she's been watching from. Alex Brown didn't say. Insurmountable Van didn't say. Ernest Johnson from Nimba County has been watching. I thought Tamba didn't say. Kroman Aluba didn't say. Moses Momolu from the USA been watching. Well, thanks to my producers, thanks to the stations I've been relaying, Radio Kegema in the Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bonk, and Radio Wologisi in Lofa County. Thanks to all of you for watching and for listening. Until then, Saba George is my name. Join us on Wednesday, and another fascinating edition of the program will be coming up. Until then, have a pleasant and restful night.